so this is the review on order of operations. I think we all remember what all the letters stand for, but we will go through it very briefly when using order of operations. Remember, you need to follow it in this order. Okay, so we start with G, which is for grouping, and that includes parentheses, braces, and brackets, and absolute value. If you forgot what that was. Absolute value is the distance from 0. So remember, it's going to always be positive once we take it. Okay, E stands for exponents, and that is to include both squares and radicals, or square roots. Okay. Next would be multiplication and division. This is the one I want to stress to us, that we are doing it from left to right. So important to go from left to right. So if you saw like 3 times 2, or let's see, 4 divided by 3 times 2. Okay, so a lot of people want to go, oh, there's the multiplication. Nope, we got to go from left to right, even though it's m/d, left to right. Okay, so multiplication comes second, division comes first there. And then addition and subtraction works the same way. I'm going to write SUB for subtraction. If it was 3 minus 2 plus 4, people see that 2 plus 4 and just want to get it out of the way and simplify like that. Okay, we need to go from 3 minus 2 first, which is 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Okay, so we're going to go through some problems together. Just to make sure that you're getting all the same answers as me. If you want to work ahead, like on number 1 when we start, if you want to try to solve it first and then double check with my work, I think that would be a good way to do it too, or you can just follow along as I'm going through them. But remember, after the 6 problems, you have to flip over and do the 10 on the back independently. Alright, so number 1, it says negative 12 plus negative 3 plus 16 divided by 8. I'm going to write always on the side of my paper. Okay. So we see that we have some addition of negatives, and then we have some division. Okay, so I'm going to underline what I'm going to do first. When I do order of operations, it's always important to copy everything else down that you are not simplifying yet. So I'm going to copy that negative 12 plus negative 3 down, and then simplify the 16 divided by 8, which is 2. Okay, now I only have addition left, and then I have some negatives as well, but I need to go from left to right. So negative 12 plus negative 3 would be negative 15. Then bring my plus 2 down. So now I'm left with one step. Negative 15 plus 2 is negative 13, and that's my final answer. Okay, if you ever need more time in the video, you can stop the video or pause it, and you can rewind if you miss something, if I talk too fast, or of course you can raise your hand and ask me in person. Alright, next we have 3 times 8 plus a negative 2 in parentheses squared. So we'll start out trying to figure out what we need to do first. I see some exponents, so let's simplify that part first. I write everything else down. 3 times 8 plus, well, remember when we have exponents with parentheses, we need to think that we are making a carbon copy of that number inside the parentheses. So that's saying negative 2 times negative 2, which is a positive 4. Okay, now we have multiplication and division left. We've done our grouping and exponents, or multiplication and addition left, excuse me. So I'm going to do my 3 times 8 first. 3 times 8 is 24, bringing out my plus 4. Okay, now I have just addition left. 24 plus 4 is 28. And I apologize if you hear that snoring. That is my poor little puppy. He is sleeping and he snores. Alrighty, next we have 6 plus parentheses negative 12 plus 2 times 3 squared. Write my order on the side. Okay, so in this we see that we have a lot of things going on in our grouping. Okay, so I'm going to definitely isolate what's going on in the grouping first. So I have 6 plus negative 12 plus 2 times 3. Inside the grouping, let's look at what we need to do. Okay, so we're inside the grouping, and I would encourage you to just look at it and cover up everything else. So I'm looking at right now just negative 12 plus 2 times 3. So I hear myself say times. I know I have multiplication in there. So that's the first thing you're going to do. We're not going to use the exponent yet, right? We need to simplify everything in the parenthesis to one number before we go on to the exponents. So I have negative 12 plus 2 times 3 is 6 squared. All right. Again, common mistake. People see that exponent and they think that they need to do 6 squared. No. We need to simplify everything in the parentheses first. So let's bring everything down. 6 plus, well, negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6 squared. All right. And what is negative 6 squared with parentheses? What is it asking you to do? It's asking you to do negative 6 times negative 6, and that would be 36. Okay, so you have 6 plus 36, and 6 plus 36 would be 42, and that is your final answer. Again, if you need to pause it and work through something again or listen again, be my guest. Okay, 12 plus parentheses 5 squared minus 3 times 1 over 3. Again, G-E-M-D-A-S. Okay, let's go. So we see we have parentheses. We need to definitely isolate what everything in there is first. So inside the parentheses, we see we have that exponent 5 squared. Okay, so let's do that first. We have 25, that's 5 times 5, 25, minus 3 times 1 over 3. All right, we still need to simplify the parentheses before we can be done with them. So next we would do our multiplication inside of the parentheses. So 25 minus, well, let's do 3 times 1 over 3 over here. Now this is a property. If I put a 1 underneath my 3 and I multiplied straight across, 3 divided by 3 would be 1. That's the inverse property, right? Because those are reciprocals or inverses of each other. So 3 times 1 over 3 is just 1. Okay, still need to finish simplifying what is in my parentheses. So I have 12 plus 25 minus 1 is 24. 12 plus 24 would be 36. All right, if you have any questions, you need to go back and listen. Of course, you may pause the video, but I'm going to move on to number 5. Okay, number 5, these little straight up and down bars, remember these are absolute value bars. So we need to solve everything in there first like it's grouping. Okay, so I have 12 minus 17. That's going to be my first thing that I'm going to solve. Of course, still writing down the whole problem so I don't forget about anything. So what is the absolute value of 12 minus 17? Well, we do 12 minus 17, which is negative 5. Okay, so I'm going to write it like that first, just to make sure I show all my work. And then I'm going to take the absolute value of negative 5. So the absolute value of negative 5 is a positive 5 because it's describing the distance from 0. Negative 5 is 5 units away from 0. Okay. Now we go from left to right. So we start with 12 minus a negative 3. Remember, when we have 2 negatives in a row, we can either say we dump our doubles, or we could say keep, change, change. So it's going to become 12 plus 3. So 12 plus 3 is going to be 15, and we bring down our plus 5. Once we have our 15 plus 5 left, we know that we only have the final step, which is 15 plus 5, which is 20. All right, in our last problem, number 6, we have, in parentheses, 7 minus 3 times 6 plus 15 over 3. Now, when we have these fraction ones, it's usually recommended to simplify everything on the numerator first and everything on the denominator second, and then just divide the two. Okay, so we don't need to be jumping back and forth the numerator and denominator. So looking at the numerator, the first thing you want to say is, oh, I have grouping. I need to simplify that to one number. So I can do that in one step. 7 minus 3 would be 4. So I have 4 times 6 plus 15, always writing down the entire problem. Okay. Next thing I want to do is my multiplication. 4 times 6 is going to be 24. 24 plus 15 over 3. Then I'm going to add 24 and 15. 24 plus 15 is 39 over 3. Okay, and your last step would just be to divide the two. You've simplified the numerator and denominator to one number, so if you divide them, you get 13. Okay, so on the back, I have some problems for you, 8 problems. Answer is in the answer bank below, because if it's not, you want to make sure you work through it again and double check that you were following all of the correct order of operations. If you have any questions, please just ask me, raise your hand. Otherwise, I think you'll do great, and I am very proud of you. All right, good luck.